And I gather, I think some of them, one or more or so, were taken to the hospital. I do hope that appropriate care is being given to them, that they've not been forgotten as well. And to the families of these officers, especially the slain officers, I hope that they're remembered. And I hope that the family gets whatever is due to them, and whatever else can be extended to them by relevant individuals. And also, you might remember that the National Population Commission commissioner that was abducted as well, I think somewhere in the Bakari or so, Gloria Izonfor, also had been released after, I think, about 5 days the kidnappers then. So that's a welcome development as well. And here's hoping that the authorities, security agencies, will get their act right and stem this tide of crime and criminality and reverse this ugly trend of kidnappings in River State, in the country as a whole. Very much hope so. But congratulations once again to those who are, to all of us really, on the release of Okewale and the NPC woman. Now, moving on to the next matter of discourse for this hour, story from the Punch newspaper. Don't attack embassy staff. Ambassador warns stranded Nigerian students. The Nigerian ambassador to the Republic of Sudan, Safiu Olanio, has decried the glitches in the efforts to evacuate Nigerians, including students trapped in Sudan amid the ongoing insurrection in the country. The envoy, who lamented that Nigerian students have been left stranded in Sudan streets, however, appealed for calm, explaining that the Nigerian embassy in Sudan was not in charge of hiring buses for evacuating the students. He added the stranded students were not alone facing hardship, as embassy officials were also impacted by the hardship occasioned by the fight in Sudan. And in a voice note posted on NIDCOM Situation Room on Sunday, the ambassador clarified that the Ministry of Disaster and Humanitarian Affairs, as well as the National Emergency Management Agency, were in charge of the buses. He said, quote, "Good afternoon, my fellow Nigerians. My name is Ambassador Olanio. I am reaching out to you at this point on the issue of buses that are creating tension everywhere. I just want to let you know that the embassy is not in charge of the bus contract. We have not received any money from anybody to hire buses. We are arranging the logistics." Now, those who are arranging the buses are the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs in Nigeria, as well as NEMA. So ours is to get the necessary instructions that this and this has been arranged, and we just give instructions to the students to meet at so-and-so place, and that is what we have been doing. The envoy lamented that the embassy officials were also without food, water and light, just like trapped Nigerians, assuring parents and students that officials were fully on ground in Khartoum to ensure the evacuation. He said, now quote, "The present arrangement that appears to have broken down was also coordinated in Nigeria. We are in contact with them to correct whatever is wrong with the contract, because students cannot continue living on the streets. I want to assure you that we are as vulnerable as you are, and will not leave until all of you have been moved safely and to Nigeria. And so I'm urging you not to take any action like I'm hearing, that you're planning to attack the family of officers. The officers and I are all as vulnerable as you are. We have no food like you. We have no water like you. We have no light like you. It's not like we're living in a different world. This is war, and it is not tourism." Now, regarding efforts to ensure that Egyptian authorities allow Nigerians fleeing Sudan to pass through their country, he added, quote, "With regards to those who are on the border of Egypt, the issue is for security clearance to be issued for the evacuees to be able to move across the border into the Egyptian border. All that needs to be contacted in Nigeria are being contacted for them to contact their counterparts in Egypt for this clearance to be issued. It is unfortunate that it has not been issued, but within a very short time, all this would be in the past." Once again, I urge you to be calm and await the necessary developments. Nobody's sleeping. We know you are there because we are also here, and we are not going to leave you to your fate. We are in this together, and we are not leaving until you have all left for safety. Let's talk about this development for a bit. How well has the Nigerian government performed as far as evacuating Nigerians who are stranded in Sudan? From information available to you. mean, the countries of the world who are successfully evacuated their citizens, who are successfully evacuating their citizens. As a matter of fact, Saudi Arabia, for example, has evacuated, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has evacuated a total of 2,544 persons from Sudan following the outbreak of a military conflict in the country. And remarkably, they evacuated once again over 2,500 persons. Of them, of the over 2,500 persons, only 119 are Saudi citizens. 119. 4,425 are from 74 countries. 10 of them are Nigerians. The Saudi government went beyond evacuating just their own citizens. They went beyond that to evacuate citizens from 74 other countries. Once again, in total, Saudi Arabia evacuated 2,544 persons so far. Only 119 of them are Saudi citizens. The remaining 2,400 plus are from 74 other countries. 10 are from Nigeria. But we gather that when the Nigerian government, or when Nigeria was commencing the process of evacuating citizens from Sudan, they even went as far as asking them what local government areas they came from. Meanwhile, the Saudi government is evacuating citizens of any country. It doesn't matter. You don't have to be Saudi Arabian or Saudi citizen to qualify for evacuation as far as the Saudi authorities are concerned. You have other countries of the world successfully, evacuating the citizens from Sudan. You have the American government doing that, As a matter of fact, in the case of the U.S., they sent a Navy ship to help evacuate American citizens in Sudan, and they also used armed drones as well to provide air cover. Remarkable stuff indeed. Armed U.S. drones, Navy ship help evacuate American citizens in war-torn Sudan. Armed drones escorted hundreds of Americans as they began their escape from war-torn Sudan on Saturday amid fierce fighting between the military and rival paramilitary group. The unmanned aerial vehicles flew above a convoy of buses as they made the 500-mile journey from Sudan's capital Khartoum to Port Sudan on the east coast. A U.S. official familiar with the matter confirmed several hundred Americans were on at least a dozen buses, said the official, the USNS Brunswick arrived in Port Sudan to assist with the evacuation effort. And that's going on. The same thing can be said of the British government as well, who has also evacuated and continues to do so to evacuate their own people. And the British government has arranged an extra evacuation flight from Port Sudan in eastern Sudan, which will depart Monday. The government said on Sunday, adding that it has evacuated 2,122 people so far from the country. The government confirmed it was no longer running evacuation flights from Wadi Saidna airfield near Khartoum due to a decline in demand by British nationals as the situation on ground remains volatile. So, countries are evacuating their citizens, evacuating their people, but we haven't a lot of people doing that. Now, we still have people in Sudan who've not crossed to the border with Egypt there. We've got military play in Egypt right now, but it's able to do anything because there's nobody to move from Egypt to Nigeria. At least that's the last time I checked. Flood on the situation earlier today. I don't know if that situation has changed now. We'll check in a moment. How have been formed in evacuating 0817 923 0002 08003 0817 23 How do you performance of Nigerian government in if the route of, at some point, I think they had 13 buses, 4 days they were supposed to get, which was the cost, I think, at some point when the buses were moving, the students, reports have it, the drivers stopped somewhere in the Sahara and said they weren't moving any longer until they got paid. And they were there, stuck there in the Sahara for at least 5 hours. Traumatizing situation, really. There's been one horrendous story after another as far as the evacuation of Nigerians who are stranded in Sudan is concerned. And what is fundamentally responsible for, what would you say is fundamentally responsible for how things have gone so far, with how we have handled
Nigeria? I don't know, they're not proactive. They don't think things are just not a thing that you can just easily do. You find them being so sluggish, they don't mind. I think it's just who our leaders are. Whatever is happening there in Sudan, however they choose to evacuate those students, how they are being delaying, how they are just, it's no different from how they normally do things here.
Which is, okay,
so I think it's just who we are.
Just who we are? We're just the sluggish people?
What do you want me to say then?
Are you a sluggish person?
I'm not a sluggish person. I mean our leaders.
Oh, okay.
The way they do things here is no different from what they are doing there.
Right.
Aren't you the one that read it, how the US people are using even their warships to evacuate their own citizens?
Sorry, I have to go
just
for a break now.
To protect their citizens.
Sorry, I got a commercial break to attend to now. I'll return in a moment. Conversation will continue. Do please stay with us. It is 4:30 p.m. right now. Discussions continue. Let's talk. And we're discussing a situation with evacuation of Nigerians who are stranded in Sudan at the moment. What's your assessment of how we're handling this situation? And why is it that way? Why does it appear other countries are doing a much better job of evacuating their citizens from Sudan? Don't attack embassy staff, ambassador warns stranded Nigerian students. This suggests that the situation is even so tense that there are fears that Nigerians who are stranded in Sudan may soon start attacking Nigerian embassy officials over there. And the story goes, the Nigerian ambassador to Sudan, Safiu Olaniyi, has decried the glitches in the efforts to evacuate Nigerians, including students trapped in Sudan, amid the ongoing insurrection there. He lamented that Nigerian students have been left stranded in Sudan streets. However, it's appealed for calm, explaining that the Nigerian embassy in Sudan was not in charge of hiring buses for evacuating the students. And I mentioned earlier on before the break how the American government, U.S. authorities went as far as using armed drones to escort their citizens, whilst they were evacuating them. They sent a Navy ship to evacuate. While they were ferrying them in buses to the Navy ship, armed drones were escorting them. I have stories of the British as well, who even arranged for a flight to evacuate their citizens. They've already successfully evacuated over 2,000 persons already. 2,122 people have already been evacuated from Sudan by the British authorities. And other countries also, even Japan. Sudan evacuation flight carrying 48 Japanese nationals and family members lands in Tokyo. A charter flight carrying 48 Japanese nationals and their family members evacuated from conflict-torn Sudan landed in Tokyo on Saturday morning. And the flight departed Friday from Self-Defense Forces base in Djibouti, a small African nation near Sudan, according to the foreign ministry. So Japan has successfully moved its own citizens and their family members, 48 of them. Germany also has even ended its evacuations in Sudan. 700 people have been flown out already. And that 700 included about 200 German citizens. That means that the other persons, the other 500 or so, are foreign or citizens of other countries and not Germany. South Korea as well said, as at sometime last week, it was evacuating 28 nationals through Sudan airports. A bus carrying 28 South Korean citizens arrived at the Port Sudan New International Airport for evacuation on military aircraft. Once again, South Korea landed an aircraft in Sudan to move their citizens out. Well, sorry about that. So it's remarkable indeed. What's your assessment of how the Nigerian government has handled this situation, and why is that the case? Why are we finding it extremely difficult to do this thing that other countries are
Yeah. You see, what is just happening is a blatant display of our incompetence. Embassy officials that Nigerians see, they are not, they are the Nigeria that they see. So if the students are saying they want to attack embassy officials, which is wrong in my own estimation, it is as a result of their wanting to vent their frustrations on other people. Okay? And I've learned so much on your show, and one of the things I learned that I want to reiterate here is that efforts don't count, results do. And from what I hear you saying, all what the ambassador is saying is the effort that they are putting. We will. But what the Nigerians in Sudan want to see is results. We speak now, I'm not aware if anybody has been evacuated, just as you were saying, some are at the border between Sudan and Egypt stranded, while others are on the streets. It's appalling. It's just like we just display our inefficiency almost everywhere we go. and good works that others are doing. We are looking at it, we are seeing it, but we are not replicating it.
Why are we unable to do that? Why are we unable to do that?
You say what?
Why are we unable to do that? Why are we unable to do what the American government has done, the British government, the Saudi Arabian government, the Japanese government, the South Korean government, the German government? Why are we unable to do it?
You know, we don't have to use any sophisticated means to do these things. Do it our own way. If you have to use canoes, if you have to use horseback, just get Nigerians to safety. That's all is required. And from all indications, we are failing. It's as simple. Keep them out. The people who are supposed to engage. There are lines of communication in diplomatic circles. Engage them. Make sure everything is going on well. The man on the ground knows the number of persons that to enter a bus. You don't tell him from Nigeria that I've sent two bus when the man has more than 300-400 people on the ground. He should be telling you, I need 10 bus. I need 20. You know, and then it should be easy. They coordinate. It's like just what we do. Put money at everything. The next thing you hear, we have released $1 billion for this. We have released this million naira for that. We don't. Normally, we are not supposed to throw money at problems. These things do not ring a bell. We should humanitarian and disaster management. What have they been managing? How have they been coordinating? Those are the issues, and they are failed in this aspect. That's what I think.
All right. And not just, European countries, or Asian countries or North American countries have succeeded in evacuating their citizens. Even African countries as well. For example, 51 South Africans evacuated from Sudan returned home following an anxious wait for their families in the arrival hall of Johannesburg's O.R. Tambo Airport. More than 50 South African citizens returned home after being evacuated from Sudan following clashes between two rival generals. A ministerial delegation headed by South Africa's International Relations Minister, Naledi Pandor, is there to greet them. It was traumatic. Feels good to be back home in our own country, evacuee Nelson Newell said. All South Africans, including the ambassador to Sudan, are now back home. South Africa has been able to successfully evacuate all her citizens in Sudan, while Nigerian students are still roaming the streets of Sudan, wondering when or if they're going to ever get back home. Hello, you're welcome.
Hello, Dayo.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Maybe I should start answering your question by asking you, what is it that has not been rocket science to us in this country? Just tell me. Tell me, what is it that is not rocket science for us?
Building flyovers.
Perfect. Perfect. Maybe building flyovers. Because I can remember when we had xenophobia in South Africa, Nigerian government could not even take away our people for xenophobia attack. This one, there is no war, there is no insurrection, just that they are taking our people. We had to take airpeace and all that. Now that we have war, that one is more than rocket science now. That one is more than rocket science. We spent 300 billion, couldn't conduct elections. Is it now to go and rescue people that life is involved? The one that life is not involved, we couldn't do. Now that war and life is involved, then it's just our incompetence. What we are doing here is we try to cover it cosmetically, but it will always show. We'll always embarrass ourselves in the face of the world, no matter how we try to pretend. No matter how we try to pretend. And what is the cause of this? Putting square holes in square pegs. We don't put people in where they have competence. We don't look for people whose competence or work has spoken for them to put them in critical positions. No, we will look for people who are from our village, our father's friend, and the rest. And the result is all of this that you're seeing. Sudan, that is just one country away from us, What if something like this is happening in this across the Atlantic? How can we, So it's just the incompetence that has been our bane. Till we get rid of it or till tackle it head on, something like this, even if it happens in Ghana, or even if it happens in Togo, the same result, what is happening in Sudan, will still happen. Because our incompetence will always be there to speak for us. Thank you.
You're welcome, also. And speaking of African countries that have succeeded or are succeeding in moving their nationals, 74 Ghanaian nationals expected in Accra May 2. That will be tomorrow. The first batch of 74 Ghanaian nationals being evacuated from war-torn Sudan will be airlifted from Addis Ababa to Accra on Tuesday, May 2. Ministry in a statement shared said 76 Ghanaian nationals had successfully crossed the Sudan-Ethiopia border with the assistance of officials of the Ghana embassy in Ethiopia and were currently in Addis Ababa. Arrangements were in place to fly 74 of them to Accra on Tuesday, May 2. Remarkable stuff. Ghanaian nationals have successfully been moved out of Sudan into Ethiopia, and they're going to be flying home tomorrow. And yet, we have Nigerians who are stuck at the border, the border into Egypt, unable to move in. You have others who are still stranded on streets of Sudan, living on the streets, literally. No food, no water, no electricity. They're just there. And we're really struggling to get this done. Hello, you're welcome.
Yeah, Dayo. Yeah,
Hello.
Okay, my name.
You're welcome. Go ahead.
Everything used to be budgeted before they will implement that in Nigeria.
But so, they have budgets in those other countries also.
Yes, in Nigeria now, they have to give them a budget of 20 billion for the evacuation of Nigeria and Sudan before they do that. That is the problem we are having. Look at fraud ravaging everywhere in some part of Nigeria here. They are seeing it. Budget for them to give them the huge of money. Minus that, people will die without nobody will excuse them except they see their own private money. It's unfortunate for them to see all this kind of things. But in other countries, they have the emergency race to rescue their people first before any other thing. But here, they want to put the money in their pocket before any other person. They don't care. Thank you.
You're welcome. What's the messages over here? Honestly, I'm just blown off with your information. Did you say U.S. used armed drones to escort their citizens? Honestly, our rate of development is just outdated. Our education system is total overhaul. That's from Peter. I think we're comparing ourselves with big players like the Americans too much. Tell us about Ghana or the Togos if we're not better than them. Oh, I just read those out. The South Africans are already in South Africa. Ghanaians are flying from Addis Ababa tomorrow to Ghana. Maybe I'll look for some other examples of other African countries that have succeeded or are successfully in the process of evacuating their citizens. Praying to more girls. Good afternoon, Dara. From a scale of 1 to 10, I rate the Nigerian government 1% because they have done little or nothing in this case. It's just the usual way of trying to be relevant, when in reality they are not concerned about the lives of Nigerians in Sudan. It's obvious we have reactionary leaders than proactive people at the corridors of power. All right. But on Facebook, Charles Ojunwa goes, every day of your life, pray never to encounter Nigeria because it will be the saddest day of your life. Nathan Akira goes, they just informed us of how the U.S. evacuated their citizens. Even went further to inform us how the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia evacuated even non-Saudis. But did you know that Kenya evacuated their citizens using their Air Force jets? There's everything wrong with the Nigerian state. What is happening to our people in Sudan is enough to sack the entire government if we have a working National Assembly. Cry the beloved country. Ochuko Erefamote on Facebook goes, Dio, what is responsible is that most likely no official will lose their job for whatever negligence they decide or turn out to play. Again, you can see that the government perceived lack of humanity is felt in this evacuation process. You probably won't be surprised to know the Nigerian government is most likely not in contact with the warring parties that have territorial advantage where Nigerians are currently stuck, pains everywhere. Lines are still open, 0817 923 0002, 0817 923 0003 or 0007. We're on Facebook, Twitter as well, at Nigeria Info PH. Hello, how back to welcome.
Yeah, good evening.
Hello, go on.
Yes, everything is wrong about the person bringing back our students. Why must ed volunteer to go and carry them? Why MP did not allow us to have a frivolous budget to hire aircraft to go and bring our people? So you look at it that a lot of things is wrong. That is why our people are suffering there. Because airpeace as volunteers aircraft, he couldn't allow us to have a frivolous budget and give to the government that this is what will bring back our people back home. Thank you.
30 minutes to go before 5 o'clock. Now, let's see. It's a capital wrong to compare those countries mentioned with Nigeria in everything. Logistics, military, humanitarian disaster, and otherwise. It's like comparing elephants with rats. You forget so soon that we are unable to rescue our people during flood cases here in Nigeria. You're not talking of war zone area in Sudan. Okay, that's from Joe. Hello.
Hello, Daniel. Good evening.
Hello, go on.
Yes, my name is William. I'm calling from Agadol. I want to answer your question, correct? I want to answer your question.
Yeah, go ahead.
The reason why we are currently or presently unable to move Nigerian students out of Sudan is because, are you hearing me?
Go ahead.
We have a very useless.
Okay, all right. Somebody told me he was about to use a word, an offensive word that he knew he should not use, so I was prepared for that. Whilst I do appreciate, for the if you were emotional about this, and you should be, who knows, maybe he's even got family in Sudan, or somebody who knows, but if you're having a private conversation with your friend at home or wherever else, you possibly can use any kind of language or word you decide to, but when you're in a public space, like on a live radio show, you're not allowed to do that, so you can't use such terms, abusive or derogatory, and so I had to let him go. However, if you are, in a better state of mind and you can express your thoughts on this without resorting to derogatory or abusive language, do feel free to call back in. Hello, you're welcome. Please go on.
Hello, Daniel. Good afternoon.
Yeah, go ahead.
My name is Christian. Sometimes I wonder if we are better than the government people were complaining about, because that's just who we are. How many Nigerians are in Sudan? 5,000. No other country has up to 1,000 people in Sudan. We badmouth our country every day. We think we are useless. We run away from the country. Do you think if Nigerians that are in Sudan are less than 300, they wouldn't have brought them back? That's what it is. So, as far as I'm concerned, the government we are blaming every day is a reflection of who we are. In all ramifications, including the program that you do every day, you bring negativity, people call, badmouth the country, abuse leaders and all that. Things are not done elsewhere in other countries that way. It doesn't even look at things that can work in this country and bring for programming. Every day, negativity, people call, and just rain abuses on the country. So what do you expect? Please, let's change.
So Nigerian info is the problem, and hard facts is the reason.
We are all the problem, even in our programming.
Hard facts is the reason.
You don't think Nigerians will bring and begin call people, call and begin to badmouth their country and abuse people anyhow?
Once again,
why didn't you allow that person to abuse people?
Once again,
but that's what you want, because that's what you do every day.
Once again, hard fact is the reason Nigerians are stranded in Sudan.
That's what I'm telling you.
Exactly. Yeah.
You always derive joy in allowing negativity. I've never seen you talk about anything positive in this country on your rant.
Okay, all right.
Please, try and change.
So once again, hard fact is the reason.
Part of the problem.
Hard fact is the reason Nigerians are stranded in Sudan right now. Somehow that isn't quite shocking or surprising, really. I mean, somehow I had a feeling or a hunch that somehow the media was going to be blamed for this. Somehow you just know it's never far away where someone will say that the media is responsible for this. You know, yeah. The hyperinflation in the country, hard fact is responsible for it. The insecurity in the country, hard fact responsible. Deplorable state of healthcare, that show is responsible for it. Broken down educational system in the country, hard fact responsible. The chaos and anarchy in the healthcare sector, Dyer is responsible for that also. It's remarkable indeed. I didn't know I had this much influence. Yeah. But thanks to that caller for letting me know that I'm responsible for everything wrong with the country, including Nigerians who are stranded in Sudan right now. Hello, you're welcome. Please go.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
I'm calling from my review.
Go ahead, please.
I'm responding based on the last caller just now. And for me, I started paying attention to the radio and this Nigeria thing to discover what the news is all about and the way the TV is casted. Why? Because what I would say this is the last caller was referring blame and other things to see how you aspect. The radio is all okay now. It's happening. Whatever is the news, they cast it. It's blaming Nigeria, blaming everybody. Everybody says radio is impossible and started Nigeria. For me, I can't blame the media. I can't blame any aspect. Because people just, okay. He was making very relevant ideas because everybody is responsible. What are we doing? We are just blaming. Everybody is just complaining, talking here, just complaining. I don't know how we got to this extent. Everybody is just blaming everybody. Everybody is just blaming everybody. Everywhere. Everybody blaming the president. The president is not good. The governor is not good. The chairman is not good. Nobody is good. I don't know where this solution will come from.
Can we talk about? Do you have any thoughts? Do you have any thoughts on?
Okay, nothing is good.
Do you have any thoughts on the Sudan situation?
We are not even this. What are we making? Nothing.
Once again, do you have any thoughts on the Sudan situation?
Hello?
Do you have any thoughts on the Sudan situation?
Yes, exactly.
All right, go ahead with that, please. Hello?
Hello?
Do you have any thoughts on the situation in Sudan? Okay, no. Hello, hard fact to welcome. Please go on.
Hello, Dayo, good evening.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Richard. I'm calling from Port Harcourt.
Go on.
Let me also accuse you of the fact that you are responsible of the rigged election in February 2023.
Oh, okay, all right.
But outside that, let me tell you that the reason why the students in Sudan have not been brought back home is because our politicians, our big politicians, our leaders, who are supposed to take care of our none of their children is involved. If this country is well organized I wonder what our children will be doing in our educational system, if it is well organized. I wonder what our children will be doing in Sudan. It is because our educational system is a mess, and it is caused by the government. It is not by the citizens. Citizens doesn't have hand in this. If you do things well, the citizens will follow. If our education system is well organized, nobody will be leaving this country. Nobody will be going to UK, not to talk about Sudan, to go to school. You would wonder what the parents of these children pay in Sudan to send their children to school. Because our school system is nothing to write home about. That is why they were there. But the reason why they are not bringing those children home is because none of the children is involved. They are mindful and careful about themselves and themselves alone. If Buhari's son or daughter is there, those people would have been evacuated since. Or any of these our leaders who call themselves leaders, in fact, self-acclaimed leaders of this country. Because their children are not there, that is why they cannot be brought home. Even if they die, nobody cares about it. So this is the reason why they are not being brought back. Thank you. My name is Rich.
Oh, you're welcome. Hello, 913.
Hello, Mr. Doyle. Good evening.
Oh, well, go on.
My name is Aneka and I'm calling from Port Harcourt.
Go ahead, please.
Yes, on the issue of this conference has to do with Nigeria stranded in Sudan.
Yes.
I don't know when our government will want to be proactive in doing things. When you look at what US and UK they are doing concerning their citizens in UK, one will be proud to belong to such a country. You know, we like taking the back seat when they have to do with things that we should take the front seat. When we see call ourselves Giant of Africa, I don't know how comes about that name. What makes us the Giant of Africa? Our economy is bad. Our education system is bad. Everything that has to do with Nigeria is just getting down every day. I'm not trying to cast a power on this country, but when we look at the way our government is doing, it calls for concern about our leaders. It calls for concern as has to do with the citizenship too. Because we sometimes we see what is wrong and we want to do the same thing, believing that will give us a good result. It doesn't work that way. I listened to a brigadier some days ago when she gave an highlight on the number of Nigerians that are in Sudan. Because she said that what we even thought is even more than that. I think that was what she said, if I heard that well. But at times, a government, we should do things that should make citizens be proud of this country. What do Nigerian government really do to make people want to die for this country? Looking at what US are doing, one will want to die for US. That's why they are proud of everything that concerns their country. The US cannot see their flag being burned down by nothing. They will be mad at you. So Nigerians, let's learn to do things the right way. Let's act as if they have government. Your government should learn to protect their citizens. Thank you so much, Mr. Dyer.
You're welcome. Dyer Hardfact is not responsible for the problem with Nigeria. Mike said that he had something else to it, which I would not read out. But Mike, thanks for your vote of confidence. We'll wrap up this segment right now. Got the news update coming on top of the hour at 5 o'clock. When I return, discussions continue. And the next matter, election petitions. NLC vows to create Hall of Shame for corrupt judges. If we do have corrupt judges in the country, maybe the NLC is responsible for that also. Or who knows, maybe Hardfact is responsible for the corrupt judges that we might have in the country. Maybe Dayo is the one responsible for them also. But I'll be asking you, if you think this will have any impact at all on the various election petitions that are at various tribunals across the country at the moment. All of this after the news update at 5 p.m. Do please stay tuned. Hardfact returns shortly.
Reach out, be informed, stay connected to the world.